am also a certified equine ergonomist, which means I can saddle fit and evaluate. A short series on tips on how to check your horse's back, keep your equine horse's back healthy and supple. So you can see Brooke is super impressed that she's been dragged out for this, and the midges are insane aren't they? So I thought I would just talk a little bit about the young horse and getting them ready for saddle. So Brooke came to me as a unbacked 3-year-old, and she was quite wary of everything, and we just spent a little while, well, quite a long time actually, getting her used to people, and working with her on the ground. In fact, 2 years worth of groundwork, and I just I just find it Rube, come away. It's all right. Yeah, Billy, come away. Come on. Ruby wants to get involved. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, come on darling, come back, how important it is not only to obviously back them correctly, but also to set them up ready for when they're going to be backed. So yeah, if the back and the core are really weak, and then we put the saddle and the weight on top, there's the danger of that back muscle and the body adapting. So one of the ways that it will adapt is, if you think about, if we're on 4 legs and if we drop down, not quite sure why we did that, this part here in our back gets a bit of pressure on it, and then if the saddle on top of that doesn't fit, that back wants to drop away. So through here you'll start to get a drop away, and then when everything moves here and drops away from the saddle, everything else picks up to compensate. So by that I mean the body tries to find a different way to adapt itself to cope with the pressures of an ill-fitting saddle, or an unbalanced saddle, and then on top of that maybe an unbalanced rider, and the body looks to adapt itself. And some of the ways it can do that is by shifting all the weight forward. As it drops the back, the weight can shift forward, feel really heavy in your hand. Or another way is to ride with very high head carriage, again to kind of ease the pressure so it drops that back again. Now if we think about going forward long term, that's fine, if not even fine short term, but obviously long term that happens to then cause the spinous processes in here, obviously along our spine, to yeah, I know it's midgy, to come together. So in a good healthy spine we want the transverse processes along the spinal column to be open. So when we talk about a nice rounded frame and everything, that's what we're referring to. We want spinous processes open, stretched, everything is nicely put together underneath. When you start to get a different alteration in biomechanics, just moving away from the phone, it can cause what we now know obviously as kissing spines, where the spine starts to invert, and then the spinous processes, yeah, on top of my knuckles, start to kind of touch. They can end up fusing, and then obviously you've got a real problem with pain, etc. So we want this muscle, the longissimus dorsi muscle, to be fairly strong and developed before we stick a saddle on. Within that, obviously she's young, so her core strength is not fully developed and everything yet. She's really bored and really bad. But she's getting there. But she's had 2 years of groundwork manoeuvres that have been slowly building that muscle up. Okay, so the midges defeated us. We've come in because it's just so midgy. I'm so covered in bites. I'm fed up with being covered in bites. I think Brooke was a little bit hungry too. So yeah, going back to what we were saying. So that's the reason why, if you have me as your physio, you'll know I'm always banging on about core strength, back strength, core strength, because it is the basis for everything. And unfortunately, we tend to get our babies, 4-year-olds or 3-year-olds, and then we start getting them ready for the saddle and everything, and then we chuck the saddle on, and then obviously we get on. So I'm just trying to give horse owners that are looking at next spring to start backing their horses the time, take the 6 months between now and then, to concentrate on exercises that are going to build all the muscles that they're going to use more when you're riding. So more of the core muscles, more obviously the back where the saddle's going to be sat, more of the hind end, the abductors and the adductor muscles when you're doing any kind of lateral work, even if that is just moving your horse to get a gait. They still need to be able to move laterally. And don't get me wrong, horses obviously do that naturally. There are lots of manoeuvres that they'll just do naturally, but that is without us on top. And if you train that all from the ground and get everything set up, you've just got a much better ground base to start everything.